Alright, boom. I'm gonna make this story real quick. Then I'm gonna upload the story. I'm gonna get it to where, it ain't that long. So you understand. Alright. So, like I told y'all in one of my other videos, uh 80s and 90s was off the chain in Birmingham, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much in Alabama, period. Kind of in the South for real. But this story right here is the time I'm 9 years old and I catch a shooting case, which is my first pistol charge, because I had two of them in my life. And I have all in the same year when I'm 9 years old, I got one shooting case. Now the other one is on down the line as I got older, on down the line. But the second charge I got that year was burglary and breaking and entering, right? 9 years old, off the chain, like it was wild that year. As y'all can see, check out our work. I felt like, I gotta come up with a name for all my subscribers, all my followers and stuff like that I'm gonna potentially have. Anyway, I get to it, but I'm in the work uniform. Just got home. About to tell y'all this story. I'm gonna make it quick. I'm gonna sum up a lot of stuff. Of course, y'all know it's gonna be a few names that I use that are actual hood names, street names, but it's kind of the reason why I wasn't ever gonna join the GDs. Like it was a real reason why we just didn't get along, right? Okay, so I always change certain factors about the story to where people won't get mad and upset. So in my neighborhood, there's this big basketball court. It has four basketball goals, two on each side. So you can, have, two full court games going at the same time, right? But now on the outside of the court, there's like this little hill. And there's this huge basketball tree. Ain't really got no significance in the story. It's just where I was standing at the time. Now remember, this is a story about my shooting case, my pistol case, the first one I got at 9 years old. Okay, so at the time, like the year prior, me and my brother had played a trick on my mama on Halloween and scared her. She was laying down in the bed sleep. So when we scared her, she jumped up. And when she jumped up, she punched a hole in the wall, like behind her headboard. She had this wood headboard, but it had like big spaces in it, right? So she was kind of asleep on her side or whatever, and she jumped up. When she jumped up, she hit the wall real hard, and it put a hole in it about like this big. Now inside of that hole was like wood. They looked like shelves, but it was wood. It was wood blocks that was put together. You gotta think about back in the days. Like this house probably was built a long time ago. Okay, so now that little hole played a significant part in this story. My mom tried to rig the hole up where she kind of like did her own little home improvement to kind of cover it up, but where she can like move the piece of the wall aside and hide little stuff on the little shelf or whatever, because she thought we probably forgot about the little hole or whatever, But my brother did, but I didn't. Of course we got in trouble because we scared her, out of her sleep or whatever. We got in trouble. Of course, that's gonna probably be the next question. Yeah, she gave us that work. She gave us that work for scaring her, for spooking her. She gave us that work. Cause my mama was she was street. You know what I'm saying? She was hood. You know what I'm saying? She she was out there in them streets back then in the 80s and the 90s. She was out there. She wasn't like hella bad, but she was like hustling. You know what I mean? But she also was using too. So, and it wasn't like heroin or cocaine. She didn't do none of that, you know. But anyway, on that little shelf, on that little top shelf, is where she kept a loaded pistol. Right? It was a 32. Now, me not knowing that, not thinking that, these bullets is real bullets in the gun or whatever. I'm trying to cock it and play with it or whatever, and I'm having to cock it with both thumbs, and I eventually was able to cock it with one thumb, whatever, playing with it or whatever. Okay, so fast forward back to the day that we're all outside one day, because in my neighborhood back in those days, they used to bet big money on basketball games. All right. So now on one side, you got a regular, ordinary little game going. Now I had this brand new basketball. That was like my pride and joy. I had a brand new basketball and I was playing with the basketball. It was a NBA indoor-outdoor basketball. I'm talking about the best grip in the world, right? Okay, so it was these three guys: Murder, Killer, and Gangster. It was three of them, all right? And they were GDs. Okay, Murder had an auntie that stayed in my neighborhood, and he would always be at his auntie house. Right? Killer and Gangster was from the west side of town, right? Now, Murder was from the east side. It ain't the Murder. If somebody see this, it ain't that Murder from the west side. That's a whole nother different person that I'm talking about. The person that I'm talking about, he was from the east side of town. His auntie stayed over there in my neighborhood, right? Okay, so, and he kind of like, his auntie kind of like raised him or whatever. Him and Gangster were first cousins, right? They had the same auntie. I think all three of their mamas was like sisters or whatever. So, they were over there that day getting ready to play basketball. Now, Gangster was the one that was in, like, he was the more rambunctious one. He was the one that had to be noticed and all that, right? So, and then he could play basketball. They all could really kind of play basketball for real. So, me, I'm the only kid that's out there. Now, I had a homeboy that was way older than me. He was a big time hustler. He would tell me, to go run a pack here and there for him, and he would pay me, right? And he gave me, certain prices, because if anybody else caught on to what he was doing, he gave me certain prices to charge them. I couldn't charge nobody under $20. Everything had to be $20 and up, right? And he told me, every time somebody else get you to do that, get you to run across the street or run down the street, you charge them. And if you got to charge them $25, you bring me 10 and keep 15. If you charge them 20, you give me 5 and you keep 10. It's just the game. That's just how it went. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching you the game. You out here. Because they looked at it like this. You gonna do this anyway. Because I wasn't planning on stopping doing what I was doing. If I had to leave and go down the street and around the corner, I'm charging you $25. They'll give me a brown bag and I'll run with it. I'll get the brown bag back and I'll run it back to them and I'll wait for my money. You know what I'm saying? That's just how that a lot of us had different ways on how we hustled and made money back then in those days or whatever. So I had a homeboy. His name was Dent. Dent. It's my partner. He was the first one to ever show me what $100 bill was. Like, he showed me what $100 bill really could do. He was the first one, and if you're from the streets, you kind of know what I'm talking about. He showed me what $100 bill could do back then in those times, in the 80s. He really did, right? So they were standing, and even in the 90s, they were standing in the pavilion area that we had. Him, Wayne, like a few of them was just standing like probably like 40 yards away from where I was. They not real far away from me, but they a nice little distance away from me. Now I'm standing up there just playing with my basketball, fake shooting and everything like that in the air because people are playing on the court, and I know when they get on the court, I'm gonna probably be on the court with them. You know what I mean? That's just how it was. Now I'm gonna explain something to y'all. Dent was 5'2", 140 pounds. He was the skinniest dude that I ever seen at that time. That was a grown man, but he had the wildest temper in the world. Like Dent temper, he had a little man's complex. Like he felt like if you gonna challenge me, I'm gonna take it to the extreme every single time. That's just how Dent was. And he took a liking to me because I never backed down to him. By the time I was 9 years old, I was already taller than Dent. You see what I'm saying? I was like 5'4", 5'5" at 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 6'2" now. So at the time, like I was a taller kid. So I'm like shoulder to shoulder to Dent, or depending on what shoes he had on, we're about the same height or whatever. And Dent was a short guy. I'm just put it to you like that. Y'all get the picture. So he was telling me to come here. Dent was signaling me to come here real quick, but I knew what he was doing. He was trying to get me over there so they can probably, tell me to go probably to the store, grab some sodas or Gatorade or whatever they're trying to do. But I want for to go because I was like, y'all got cars. Won't y'all go? I'm not, what I'm saying, for to do that. I told y'all that 5 minutes ago. I ain't for to do that. So I'm playing, with the ball or whatever, and I'm shooting in the air. I see a figure kind of like coming my way. But I ain't really studying it or whatever because I'm just playing, with the ball, looking up, playing with the ball, shooting the ball. And all I hear is, hey, Lil. And he called me the N-word. I was like, I'm looking around. He was like, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. It's the guy Gangster that they call Gangster, right? Remember, murder, killer, gangster, right? Gangster was the oldest dude out of all three of them, but they always hung together, right? So Gangster is coming my way. He kind of take a slight little fast walk or a little jog over to me. Come up the little hill and he was like, give me that ball, little N-word. I was like, but I ain't getting you my ball, man. No, going on. He like, man, I want to play with the ball, man. I want to see the ball. Let me see the ball. I was like, no. So Dent is across the way. He was like, hey, man, just let him see the ball. I was like, no, I'm not letting him see my ball. He's not going to get my ball back. I already know what he's doing. He ain't taking my ball. I said, no, you're not getting my ball. He was like, man, and he snatched the ball. When he snatched the ball from me, I was like, hey, man. I jumped at him. He was like, shut up, little N-word. And he spit on my forehead right here. He kind of mushed me in the face and pushed me down and told me straight up out his mouth, it's my ball. You ain't getting it back. Dent was like, hey, man, chill out. He was like, man, I ain't about studying you. And he walked on the court. He like, yeah, I got the ball on the whatever, what the GDs used to say back then, the disciples always used to say, on this eyeball, like that. I'm hearing this. I'm not crazy. I know what you just did. First of all, you just spit on me. That's strike 10 right there. You done struck out 7 times with me when you spit on me. But I'm a little kid, you know what I'm saying? Tears just start coming down my, man, I was crying. I jump up. Dent said, man, come here. We're going to get your ball back. Come here, man. Come here. Like that. I was like, no. And I take off running. When I take off running, I kind of hear Dent say, man, shit. Get it, brother, and his mama, man. Damn. Like that. I'm running. Dent don't know that my brother and my mama is not at home. Now, they not the big bad wolf, but we finna even these odds a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm taking off. I take off running. I'm up the hill. I get up the hill. I know where I'm going, and I know ain't nobody at home. So when I get through the back door, I grabbed the 32. I undo the little stuff that she had, the little panel or whatever she had. You know, I see the 32 on the little shelf. I take it and I cock it. When I cock it, it got a little weight to it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know it's bullets in here. Put the little thing back up. It fall back down. I take off running out the door. Close the door. I run down our steps and I'm back down running, but I go the opposite way. I go through the alley. Now, when I'm coming from my home, I stay right directly up the street from the center. You know, from the basketball court, from the recreation center. But there's two ways that you can go through an alley or you can go on the street to get to where I stayed. I went up the street, but then I came back through the alleyway to come back around and go back down to the court. So when I get down there, now I got snot boogers and tears. I gotta wipe my face and all that. I hear Dent say, "Man, there you go right there." He like, "Man, I believe we gonna have to go get this little nigga, man." Like that. So I'm like, I'm kind of zoned out. I done blacked out a little bit, but then too, I know Dent is getting ready to come my way. But he get distracted. He get distracted by his old lady at the time. And I'm gonna tell you about Dent old lady later on in another story. She was this, I'm talking about curly head, light skin, like real light complexion, like real yellow, voluptuous lips, no stomach, but Nicki Minaj bottom half. You know what I mean? Like no stomach, little waist. Her name was Takaya. One of the finest women I had ever seen in all of my 9 years at that time living. Hella beautiful. You know what I mean? She kind of distracted him and said something to him, so he kind of stopped to talk to her real quick before he was trying to turn back my way. Now Wayne was over there lacing his shoes up back then. And y'all know, Dent was not Wayne, but Dent, my big partner, was a pretty boy. I'm just gonna tell you like that. He was a pretty boy. He kept the polo type hat. He kept the Guess back. Now I'm telling my age, but Guess jeans and duckhead jeans and all that, and duckhead shorts and chaps and Ralph Lauren and all that was in back then. You know what I mean? And he had the creased duck heads and creased Guess jeans, and he had the fly K Swiss on, or he had the fly Pumas on, or you know what I'm saying? Like it was that was what was in, or he wore the loafers with no socks, with the shorts, with the polo shirt, with the hat, with the brim, the little bit of hat that the brim folded up like that. Like he was just that type of pretty boy, you know what I mean, with the one earring in the left ear. So, excuse me. So as he stopped and talking to her, I get back by the tree. Now this take me about 15, 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying, to do all of that to get back by this tree. They didn't start playing basketball, right? Now they running their little full court game. So I'm standing like this with my arms folded, but I got my mom's 32. Had a little barrel on the barrel went along and probably that, but it was a revolver, right? Now I'm standing like this with my arms crossed, like I'm pounding or whatever, right? Like I'm pounding, and I see Gangster kind of him and Killer kind of looking at me or whatever. Every time they shoot and they either miss a hit, they kind of look over at me. So, murder like, man, you gonna get your ball back? You ain't gotta be standing up pouting. That's what Murder say out his mouth. So I don't say nothing. So Gangster was like, man, F that little nigga. And he shoot and he make it. He said, yeah, I'm giving it to y'all today. I already whooped one little N word. Don't make me keep giving y'all this. He cussed. And I'm trying not to cuss because I don't know how YouTube guidelines is. He said, don't make me keep giving y'all this pretty much the business and and kick y'all. Hey, right? So I hear that, I lose my mind. The team that they was playing, they miss a shot. I done walked on the court because now this game right here is kind of over and they all standing down tired with their hands on their knees and stuff. I walked through them. When I walked through them, I see Gangster get the basketball and he kind of dribbling past somebody. I shoot one time. Bow! When I shoot, it went ping. It missed him. I didn't hit nobody. It missed him and it hit a sign. We had a sign, a tall sign like right there. We had a sign that was telling them when the park opened and when the park closed, or park hours or whatever. It was a small little green sign. And it said ping like that. Everybody stopped. They were like, oh, like they looking around. They really don't, people, it caught everybody off guard. Now I'm gonna take another side note, another time out. Unbeknownst to me, there's a white woman that stayed in this neighborhood, right? Because before my neighborhood was all black, I told y'all my neighborhood has all houses. I said that in another one of my videos. Like we had all houses, right? We had these little strips of apartments, but that we don't have projects in my neighborhood alone. Just my neighborhood. We don't have projects. So white people still own their houses in the 80s in my neighborhood and in the 90s. Like they still own their houses. So she was across the street. She had one of them porches where like her porch, her front porch was enclosed. It was enclosed. So I couldn't see her, but she can see everything out, right? Everything out her front porch window, she can see. It was a little white house that was across the, not directly across the street, but it was like off to the side. She seen everything from start to finish, and how I know, I'll tell it in a few minutes later on down the line. Okay, so that was the first shot. Pink, everybody stopped, and Murder kind of had the ball in his hand. I shoot again. Pow! Like that. He said, oh, this little nigga trying to kill me. Let's go. Let's go, folks. And they take off running. Now everybody is running every which way. They, oh my God, he's shooting, yeah. All that. So that's all you hear. You really, I'm talking about hearing all that, literally everything you hear. And after that second shot, Murder rolled on the ground. He started rolling on the ground. He turned over and he was rolling on the ground and rolled. We have the basketball court, but there's a small hill that came straight down at this basketball court, and then it was the sidewalk, and that's where like everybody would kind of park on the sidewalk and the street, and it'd be 45, 50 cars lined up all the way up the street, just on that sidewalk on these certain days, like these Saturdays or Sundays, whenever we're outside playing basketball or whatever. Everybody is out there. So now you hear do 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 do. Everybody just Murder is rolling on the ground. Killer dove and he kind of hit the concrete or the sidewalk and almost slid under the car. Well, Gangster had to try to go all the way around the car, but he was like, man, you can have your ball, man. Fuck this ball. And he threw the ball up in the air. I shoot again. Pow! And it said, clunk, doom. I didn't hit nobody in 3 shots. I ain't hit nobody. I ain't hit nothing. I hit a car and a sign. I don't know where the other one went. I don't know. I was reckless. It was stupid. I know that, but I'd have been spit on, kind of punched in the face, and pushed down by a 17, 18-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? I lose it. I'm mad, I lose it. And then when I get back, instead of an apology, I get taunting and threatening again that you'll do it again to me, right? So that third one went clunk, doom, like that. And I guess it hit the door or it ricocheted somewhere. I don't know. So he screamed again. Oh man, let's go, folks. Let's go. He crazy, he trying to kill me. Oh, he hopped over the hood of the car. Now, back then, dudes was riding Chevys for real back then. Regals, Cutlasses, like all kind of Buicks, all kind of, you know what I'm saying, like Deuce and the Quarters. They were riding all kind of big body cars back then, right? And he had a 6'3" Chevy, right? And it was an older model 6'3" Chevy or whatever, but you know, yeah, I hit the car. I was really trying to hit him, but I didn't hit nobody. I ain't hit nothing. Neither one of the bullets never hit nobody or none of that. He get in the car. He when he get in the car, he kind of do the and he jumped the curve and went and he got on, right. I pulled the trigger again. Click. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I do it again. Click. Come on, man. Number 3 bullets. I turn around and immediately take off running because now I ain't got no more bullets. But everybody is scared. You got to think about it. It's almost like 130, 40, 50 people out. It's a lot of people out here because they was about to barbecue. They was about, they got, like kids on playing on the swing set up there. Like people leaving their children, man. Like stuff was just, it was just everywhere. Like it was chaotic. Everybody, nobody tried to run and grab me or none of that. Like nobody tried to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Except for Dent. He didn't come on the court or none of that. He stood back and him, Wayne, Takaya, Wayne, old lady, like 2 or 3 of his homeboys, like Jay, all of them was like, and they looking at each other like, cause I turn around and I look at them. I look directly in they face. Like, and they all like, they can't say a word. They can't say nothing. Like they shocked. Cars flying every which way. You in, oh damn, my baby. Oh, hey little man, don't kill me. Like I heard all kind of stuff. So when I looked dead at Dent, he just was like, and nobody would say nothing. They just looking at me, and I'm looking at them. They looking back at me. I turn around and I take off running. And when I take off running, I go up the hill. Every last one of them, they turn like they kind of turn. They for to get ready to go across the street to their cars and stuff, right? And Dent was like, "Come here, little nigga, come here," like that. Nope, I'm gone. Nope, that's gonna be the second or third time you just say come here and I ain't coming. Nope. I run all the way home. When I get home, I put the gun up. For some reason, I was sweating real bad. Like bad. And I guess because I just did a whole lot of running. Right. So I get me some water. Right. But I just couldn't like, I don't know if it was anxiety. I don't know what it was, but I was just sweating so bad. And after that, I was like, I changed clothes, right? Change clothes, wash my face or whatever. Try to cool off, stand in front of the fan or whatever like that at the house. Try to cool off about 5 or 10 minutes. I go back down to the park. When I get back down to the park, everybody gone. Everybody gone. Ain't nobody at the park. It's like ghost town out there. Ain't nobody outside. Ain't nobody driving down the street. None of that. Nothing. So I turn around. I walk back up the street. But I walk another way. I walk a long way. Like up the street. I turn on a certain street. I walk to see if anybody was outside. Anybody was anywhere. and wasn't nobody outside. So I walk all the way around the block. And by the time I get home, my mama there. Right? Now, of course I heard sirens, but I really wasn't paying attention to the sirens because I'm actually trying to go play basketball somewhere else in somebody's backyard or something like that. But ain't nobody at the house, ain't nobody outside, ain't no children outside, none of that. Right? On other blocks. So I get around back to the house, and my mama was like, she said, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm okay. She said, you been down to the wreck? I was like, yeah, I was down at the wreck. She was like, recently? Like, yeah, what's going on? And I'm just talking to my mom. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, what, she was like, what happened down there? I said, I don't know. What you mean, what happened? She was like, there's a whole lot of police cars down there. She's like, and my mama didn't drive, right? Because when she was younger, she was in a bad car accident. She didn't drive. So my grandma was bringing her home from the grocery store, and she was like, there was a whole bunch of police cars down there by the park. She was like, I was making sure that you was okay. She was like, I was about to come out and call your name. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm fine. Everything cool. She was like, okay, get in here and put these groceries up. That's your mama. As long as her baby straight, she don't, she ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? She was like, all right, get in here and put these groceries up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, go put the groceries up. Next thing you know, the day go by, we leave. I think we go back up my grandma's house or whatever like that, and we stay up there. We, whatever. We come back home. Oh, the next day come. When the next day come, it's about 8:30 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to the gym, right? Well, to the rec. We get ready to go back down to the park or whatever and see if anybody out down there, any kids or anything like that. Cause some days by like 9 or 10 before the sun get real hot, the kids will be out playing down there before the grown folks start coming at 12, 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm getting ready to, walk out the door and we hear doom, 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 like that. So my mom said, my mom stick her head out the kitchen and was like, get my door. Who the hell that could be? Like beating on my door. That one of them little boy, little badass boys trying to come get you, tell them, go beat on my mama door. Like, ghetto parent. You know what I'm saying? Tell them go beat on their mammy door. Like that. So I was like, mother, I ain't nobody out. And then me and my mama here. Doom, 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 doom. Birmingham City Police. My mama said, what the fuck? And she like, what you did? I was like, I ain't did nothing. I immediately lied to her. I ain't did nothing. I've been here. I was with you. How I'm gonna do something I was with you? She was like, oh, I got an older brother. She like, she called his name. Damn. She go to the door. She was like, yeah, how can I help you? They was like, ma'am, could we step in and talk to you? She was like, no, but what's going on? He was like, well, could you step out and talk to us? She was like, you can tell me why you banging on my door at almost 9 o'clock in the morning. He was like, well, ma'am, this right here is my sergeant. And he introduced the person that was right there. He was like, and we believe that your son was involved in the shooting. And she was like, oh my God, what? She was like, what? He was like, yes, ma'am. She was like, he was like, the sergeant was like, yes, ma'am, could we maybe, speak to your son? She's like, well, he's not here right now. But it was that what happened yesterday with all the police cars and all that? They was like, yes, ma'am. That's what happened. Now they had the white lady in the back of their car, right? They was driving a regular car. They weren't driving a police car. They was driving like a regular car. So I don't know if he was in training or what, or the sergeant drove, or detective, or whatever. But they didn't, bro. I'm not knowing they didn't tape the park off, all this old crazy stuff now. So he was like, well, ma'am, who you was talking to? She was like, I was talking to my baby boy. They was like, that's who we need to talk to. She said, wait a minute, excuse me? Like that. Mom said, hold up, wait a minute. Excuse me? He was like, yeah, we don't need to talk to your oldest son, ma'am. I mean, you do have two older sons. You don't have anyone between the ages of 10 and 13. She was like, No, I have one between the age of 9, and that's it. Cause he 9. Ain't a way he could have been shot nothing. And she was like, she he was like, well, ma'am, we have an eyewitness that says that your son was the one that did the shooting yesterday. And I remember this verbatim because she was pissed, boy. She was 38 high. She was like tapping on the door and was like, and when my mama got mad, she did not talk. She don't know us really talk when we get mad, but I guess that we got that from her. But she was like, she was just sucking her teeth. She was like, he was like, yes, ma'am. Apparently, I don't know if he got, permit from you, or I mean, I don't know if you have a permit for a gun or what. She was like, I don't have a gun. He was like, are you sure? She was like, of course I'm sure. I know if I have a handgun in my house, He was like, well, ma'am, it'll be better if we step in and talk. She was like, you're not stepping in my house to talk about nothing like that. He was like, well, ma'am, we do want to take him down for questioning. She's like, well, we'll meet you wherever you want him to go. But y'all trying to arrest my son? They was like, well, man, we have to arrest him because we have an eyewitness. She was like, fuck your eyewitness. Show me your eyewitness. He's like, okay, man, wait right here. The worst part of my life for that time, this white lady stepped out the car. My mama turned around and looked at me. What the fuck is going on? You know how they talk when they teeth get mad? What the fuck is going on? I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I'm lying. Now she know I'm lying. I'm like, I don't know. Like that. It's over with. That lady get out the car. That white lady get out the car. Mama look at her. Mama said, yeah, excuse me. So you saying that my son did some shooting? Like how? He was like, ma'am, with you here, we can talk to him like that. She was like, well, okay, because I want to hear this now. The white lady, he was like, so can we step in? Mama said, no, he finna stand in the door right here. He was like, well, man, we can do this like the easy way, or we can just go ahead and arrest him. She was like, so do you know for sure this was my mama was going back and forth with this sergeant, right? Or this D-Tech or whoever he is. But I think he was a sergeant. So the white lady come on the porch, and my mom was like, so you saying that my son did some shooting? And the white lady was like, it was your son. I seen your son. Your son had on white shirt, Chicago Bulls shorts. She said I had on some all black shoes, right? She said I had on all black shoes. She was like, those shoes that he have on right now. She like, your son plays basketball down there every single day. I know your son. Of course, I knew where y'all stayed at. She was like, it was your son that did the shooting yesterday. Excuse me, y'all. My mom was like, is this true what this lady is saying? Because these folks are want to take you to jail. I was like, Mom, I didn't. It's deny. I was like, who I shot at? She was like, I don't know who he was in conversation with, but what I do know is your son was spat on yesterday. Your son was punched in the face and pushed down. My mama said, well, hell, I would have shot at somebody there that did that to my son. The police said, we understand that, man, but we have to place your son under arrest because we have a witness to say that he attempted to kill someone, and he endangered a lot of people. She was like, ma'am, it was like almost 100 people outside, which it was more than that. It was a whole lot of people out there. She was like, and when he started shooting, everybody ran and cars almost wrecked. And she was like, ma'am, it was chaotic. And I seen the whole thing. The guy snatched his basketball. She was like, what basketball? You talking about that's basketball right now on the porch? And they all looked over. She was like, what basketball? She was like, I guess that's the basketball, man. But this a white lady talking. She like, the guy snatched his basketball from him. They were over by the tree. The guy spit on him, and when he spit on him, he kind of punched him in the face and pushed him down. She said that verbatim. I bullshit y'all not to the police. The police said this is the same exact story we got yesterday from her. He said so we can finish up here, but he's going to jail like that. So me, I'm like, Mom, you gonna let them take me to jail? She was like, it ain't nothing I can do. Did you do this? Because if you didn't do this, I'm gonna slam this door in their face right now. Apparently they didn't have a warrant. You know what I mean? They really was talking to me or whatever. I was like, no, I didn't do it. She was like, boom, she slammed the door. When she slammed the door, the police knocked on the door again and was like, man, we can get a warrant for his arrest because we have an eyewitness. Because they was taking their handcuffs out. They were like, we need to take him down to the station for more questions. They was taking their handcuffs out. So one was like, go get a fucking warrant. Like that. Little did she know. They had a warrant for my arrest, but they didn't have no name. So they couldn't, they couldn't like write the warrant up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a kid. So they called Child Protective Services, right? They called CPS. And when they called CPS, they came and they said they had another witness, right? It was another witness that they had as well. And that's what made Child Protective Services come in, put handcuffs on me. Now, it was like 5 of them. And now my mom started crying because my mom, she like, I can't believe you. I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you did this. Right? She went and looked at a gun and seen that it didn't have no bullets in it. My stupid, good, crazy self leave all of the bullet shells in the revolver. I ain't even know how to empty it. I ain't even know how to empty the thing. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I promise I ain't lying. She opened it, emptied it out, and seen that like wasn't no bullets. It was just the shells. I'm talking about, man, crying. Next thing you know, doom, open up, man, open up. We gotta place him under arrest. We have 2 witnesses now, and Child Protective Services is here. DHR or whatever is here for your son. Take me down to family court. Right? When they take me down to family court, the judge look at me and ask what happened. So I'm gonna leave it right there because that's the first story I had. I'm gonna finish that story later on because I gotta tell you about the arrest and all that stuff and everything that happened. And then I got the second part of that story of when I caught a breaking and entering and a burglary charge a few months later.